Okay, time for some Northern Lights Teal by Visconti. This is going to be a 23 karat palladium nib, extra fine. Okay, we got him. He's the star of the show. Okay, let's do this. Let's do some swirls. As we all know, palladium is a very soft metal, precious metal. I do believe it's the same family as platinum. Has a higher melting point than gold. I'm sorry, platinum. This is a fantastic nib. Wrote perfectly out of the box. You got some line variation. Okay, now let's compare it against something comparable, such as a Japanese fine. This is my Sailor, 14 karat hard fine. It's gold. Okay, swirl time has far less line variation. It is a far stiffer and harder nib, although it is gold. Okay, these are very comparable in terms of line width, but the Northern Lights Teal offers more line variation. Let's go with a steel nib to see how this one fares against the teal. This is going to be Edison steel, extra fine, on my Collier that I love. Now this thing is as stiff as a nail. Doesn't offer much line variation at all, and it's steel. Very nominal. You can get some. Don't try often. You're gonna end up ruining the nib, mislining it and whatnot. Okay, let's take a fine by Bach. This is the Toccaferro. This is a steel nib. And it's a fine. And this offers very slight line variation as well. A little more than your average steel nib, to be honest with you. But once again, it's not designed for line variation, so don't go crazy with it. All right, let's go with a different palladium nib. We're gonna go with the Homo sapien Dark Age. This is 23 karat palladium, and it's gonna be a fine, not an extra fine. This is much wetter, much thicker line. Comparatively, it offers about the same ratio of line variation as the extra fine in the teal Northern Lights. It just starts off thicker and finishes thicker. Okay, do we have time or room for one more? Can you see the bottom? Yes, you can. I'm going to compare it against a fine Parker Sonnet. $18 karat gold. Now, obviously, everything with the exception of the Homo sapien Dark Age is comparable in terms of stiffness. I'm sorry. The Dark Age and the Northern Lights is comparable to each other in terms of softness. Everything else has its own character. Okay, so that's the Northern Lights Teal demonstration. He was the star of the show, so let's size him up. Okay, against the Sailor 14 karat hard fine, I would say that with the exception of line variation, the line width with the fine Sailor and the extra fine Northern Lights Teal is spot on equal. Okay, with the Edison Steel, again, with the exception of line variation, I would say that they are equal. And that Edison is an extra fine. With regard to the Toccaferro in fine, I would certainly say they're close, but looking at them, I would say that the Northern Lights Teal is a little bit finer, but just by a very small margin. Very small margin. Okay, with the Homo sapien Dark Age fine 23 karat palladium, it is definitely finer. It is thinner, so that's a minus sign. And with the Parker Sonnet fine, it is also finer. So that's your comparison and writing sample / demonstration of the Northern Lights Teal extra fine 23 karat palladium. I hope this helps. Again, be well, be safe.